We will cover body odor.
I had a teacher that was she taught geometry, but she was from France, and it was like ninth grade, and but she was she was old. She was like 70, 80 at that time, and she had come over to the U.S. from France, but oh my gosh, the she just I guess because of their culture of the time or whatever, they didn't use deodorant. They didn't use now I don't know whether she used soap or not, but I mean this lady would walk in and like this stench would just follow her. Nicest lady though, she was so sweet, but she just not sweet smelling, but she was sweet. Um, but but I felt so bad for her because the kids in that had French with her because she taught French and she also taught geometry would all make fun of her, even to her face. And I remember standing up for a few times in class, and it was funny because at the end of the semester, she gave everybody that gave her an issue a D or below. I was the only one in the class that got an A plus in her class.
All you had to tell her was you smelled like flowers, and suddenly she
Yeah.
wanted to give you a big, big grade, huh?
Just don't give me the A plus. I don't need the hug.
Oh my god.
And
But
gracious. You
but
glazed her
it's
so hard she gave you a good grade.
but there are some people out there I know that have like medical disorders that it's not their fault even when they use deodorant sometimes that they just they just like that. Or I've had people that are from other cultures, where they're eating a lot of like uh curry or whatever, and it just or garlic, and it just seeps out their pores. It's not something they can help. So
Thank you for visiting, Mimbo. Thank you for the follow on Twitch as well. Appreciate you, buddy. Have a good day.
I think it's circumstantial. I mean, obviously, if the person just is not caring and lazy and just doesn't give a darn,
Yeah,
there's a problem with that. But
they're
if it's
just not
something that they
showering.
can't help or it's part of their culture, it's kind of like I can deal with that. If somebody's an alcoholic, it reeks out of their skin,
Right.
and it's something that even though they can wash themselves a million times over and they try to take care of it, it's something that's just going to happen because of
Exactly.
the
Tobacco
body
does
shooting
this.
it out.
Tobacco does the same thing. Tobacco is the exact same way. We've had that suggestion come up several times in stream chat, and we'll be covering that in just a second because I do have that in the script. But yeah, just some people can't help it, but some people just don't care. So where would we put this on the list? F, C, B, A, or S? Where would
I
you
would
put it?
say just because of the situation, and some people can't, it's not something that can be helped. I'd put it in the B.
B. Okay.
I would just put it flat in the middle.
Harley, if you're back, what would you put it in?
Um, I did also have a coworker when I was working at Domino's who was quite cheesy, but that is, I think, due to them being overweight. If you were talking about your cheesy friend being overweight, I think it's a thing. I
Yeah,
personally have never had a cheesy sensation.
a cough that triggers a fart or a shart. All right.
Oh,
So
Oh, I
okay.
got a funny story with that one. Okay,
Okay,
go
all
ahead.
right. Well, we'll cover that next then. So we're good with putting body odor in B.
I want to know what the pictures you're gonna put for that.
what the stick emoji?
Oh, it's gonna have
You,
to be.
are you gonna use the same? Are you gonna use the same thing for the
I
fart
might
chart?
just copy Mike from my pillow again, but like give him a frown or something.
Nah, you can put a picture of Biden thinking it's a brain fart.
Oh Lord.
Uh,
All right. So what were we gonna do next? It was
Farts and charts.
no. It was something before that. There was something in the script that I had.
Oh,
Man, I remember writing a bunch of stuff in the script, and I had one for something that was just mentioned. Smoke. Somebody talked about smoking earlier. So I do have in the script a page for secondhand smoker vape. I grew up in a family of smokers. My father did it, his father did it, and so did his father, and I myself used to smoke cigars for several years. The first day that I picked up a vape was the day that any affinity I had for tobacco went poof. No more bad taste in my mouth every morning, no more greasy sensation on my teeth, no more stale smoke odor permeating every surface and every environment around me. But what did not go away was my instinctive desire to not exhale my vape at or around other people. I've caught myself on several occasions holding my breath after taking a puff off my vape before gauging which direction the wind was blowing so that I'd know if I should reposition to avoid fumigating my friends with my with my mint scented cloud. Seriously, the last thing I want to do is cause someone to stagger blindly away from me because I just blasted them with the chemical fumes that I thought would be carried the other way by the breeze that suddenly just chose to betray me as it rubs its little wind hands together and says, "Meh." But I would imagine it feels much worse to be the recipient of the aforementioned blast because it's like the smoker or vapor or whatever it is effectively telling you that they don't care if you can't breathe. So, yeah, on behalf of nicotine fiends the world over, I apologize, and I will set us down into a lower rank for what helps, what help that gives in this context.
The smells that you get off those fruity vapes can be more annoying than smoke can at times, I think.
Really? Now, is that just because that's more of a new thing and you're kind of acclimated to having been around cigarettes for you? Because obviously tobacco products have been around for decades, at this point, centuries longer than vapes have. Is it?
I'll put it this way: I can tolerate pipe smoke. I can tolerate like hookah smoke, like something like that. But when it comes to like cigarettes, I don't like cigarettes. Cigars just smell like poopy hole. As far as the vapes go, that some of them are just so sickening sweet that it just turns me off. I don't mind if it's like somebody vapes or whatever, and it's just kind of like a neutral, faint smelling. That doesn't bother me. But when it's super sweet, and it just sucks the whole room up, and it's like a freaking perfume.
So I'm curious though. You say that the scent turns you off. Is there a specific tobacco that turns you on?
No. No, I can't say that I've ever been turned on by tobacco.
Okay, Harley, what is your
I hear it's
opinion?
quite addicting, though.
Beyond addict.
What is your opinion of secondhand smoker vape?
I despise cigarettes. I remember there was at one point an attempt to ban them in Georgia, and I'm a little upset that they didn't succeed. There was a time that I worked at Savannah Electric, I can say that name because it doesn't exist anymore, where my coworker would smoke every day in the truck, and I'm asthmatic, so you can imagine how problematic that is.
Yes.
It got to a point where I was kind of acclimated to it. You know how great that is, being acclimated to cigarette smoking and being asthmatic. That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, that's a recipe for absolute.
Hey, light up! I need to get high. Okay.
It was horrible. It was disgusting. I hated the smell. I hated it sticking to me. It was awful. Every day I'd come home, my parents would joke about me smoking cigarettes. Like I don't smoke. It's my coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
The worst that I felt, I think the people I felt the worst for with secondhand smoke were the kids in houses. Like when I was a kid, if you went to somebody's house and you went in their house and you came back smelling like a freaking cigarette, those poor kids are in there smoking that or smelling that stuff all the time and just ugh. You just feel so bad for it. I mean, even when they wash their clothes, I mean, because of how much is being chain smoked in some of those houses.
All right, so are we generally okay with this being set into F, not just because it smells rancid, but because of the horrendous negative health effects that this crap has?
Yeah, it's gross.
Yep. I'm right there with you on that one.
All right, so we'll go ahead and put one of the greatest drawings that I've ever made, actually, in the tier list here. So what was just suggested a second ago was a snack bag full of air.
A potato chip bag?
Well, just generally snacks. See, I have. Where is it at? I had really put some passion into writing this. Snack bag full of air. Don't come at me with that sold by weight, not volume crap. You will not convince me that your vacuum-sealed bag of jerky absolutely must be the size of a Texan tablecloth whilst barely containing enough snack to sustain a goldfish. There is no justifiable reason to charge anything above $1 for a heaping helping of half-heartedly flavored wind with a small side of the thing you originally thought you were buying. And the most insulting element of this conundrum is that folks actually try to make excuses for it. Well, the chips settled in the bag during shipment. The machine at the factory tried so hard to fill the bag for you. Then tell that machine to shake the bag a few times and fill that puppy up the rest of the way. Well, you'd rather there be air in the bag, because without it, the chips would get crushed in transit. Well, I'd rather have crumbs than nothing. So what's you guys' opinion on snack bags full of air?
I've received quite a few of them as a child, when I was a child. The Lay's chips or the Cheetos or whatever. I had a couple packs where it was nothing but air. You open it up for lunch, you're like, oh great, I'm going to get my Cheetos. I can't wait to get my Cheetos. You open it up, and there's nothing there. You're like, great, what was this for? Packaging so the other chips and the other bags of air didn't break? Like, what was the purpose of this?
We're
other
just
than
using those individual bags of packing
Cheetos.
peanuts because they couldn't afford packing peanuts. because nobody buys their crap product.
Oh yeah, it was always it more often than not happened in the generic companies. You know, like Keystone Foods or something like that when
Right.
you're going through the vending machines.
Yeah.
Than it did in national brands. But I have had a few that have been full. I've even had a full bag of potato chips that I found on the grocery store the one time that I brought up front and said, "Listen, there's no chips in this bag. Why is it on the shelf?"
Harley, what's your opinion of not being able to get what you paid for?
It's kind of an expectation at this point. A lot of the times they're filled with air like that. Keep the quality of the chips, right? To keep them not from crunching around and shit. But if you filled it up with more chips, you would have more chip. And it's not so much about them being perfectly chip shaped. Sometimes, like the dust, the bottom with the little bitty crunchy bits is the best part.
Yeah, like sometimes that's actually what you want.
Right. Like, I have sometimes when I was younger, I would crush them up into dust. And like, dude, okay, I was a fat kid, alright. I would crunch up Doritos, mix it with sour cream, and dip my Cheetos in it. God.
I mean,
But,
hey,
like,
it tastes
really.
good for you.
Hey, sell chip dust. You can make
Dust.
yourself
My
in
mother
the air
does.
fryer. You put that on some chicken and put that in the air fryer.
You
I
think
bet that
about
crap's good.
like baking, the baking aisle at a supermarket, people sell breadcrumbs, right? Well, my mother, whenever she's making potato casserole, she will crunch up Ritz crackers to top her casseroles because it tastes better with crunched up Ritz crackers than it does with breadcrumbs. So it's like there are applications where you do want it. Obviously, for a snack, you don't want to like take out handfuls of salty dust and pour it into your mouth. But also, I don't like paying $16 for a bag of jerky that has 2 strips in it that are this long. That's stupid. Give me more snack. Stop gouging me. I don't care what the logistical reason for it is. Give me more snack and stop overcharging me. That's all I ask for. Because I know damn well it doesn't cost you $16 to put that bag on the shelf. So I originally wanted to put this in F. Are you able to convince me that it goes in anything besides F?
It's an F.
Okay, we'll put it in F. I'm glad we are in agreement on that fact. I hate this
They
tremendously.
make good airbags.
I hate it tremendously.